Welcome to this yin practice. My name's Roseanne. I'll be your guide today. It's fall where I am, so we'll feature child's pose as it provides compression on the large intestine and some poses that get into the arms for the lung meridian. So find your way seated on your mat with all your props. So that could be lots of pillows, blankets, for warmth even if you don't use them to prop yourself, and bolsters or pillows. So I have the Love My Mat ones. I like those. No paid endorsement, just love them. Also, it's handy to have a strap or a scarf or a jujitsu belt to do some hamstring lengtheners during the class today. We'll start as we did last time in child's pose. If child's isn't appropriate for your knees, you can instead be on your back and hug your knees toward your chest. Take some sort of happy baby. From here, you might have the bolster long ways in front of you. If you have your legs wide, and come down onto it, perhaps with one cheek, unless you choose to come to the earth. You also have a narrow child's pose. And the compression will come from your thighs onto the belly. So choose your variation. Yin is all about cooling the body, calming. In our world, we're often in a state of yang, very fiery, very active. Maybe we slow things down, find balance. Breathe and expand into that belly. Let your breath act as a massage. In stillness, there is flow with this breath. Looking to one side, turn your head opposite way. You sense heaviness in the body, heaviness of the hips. As they head toward your heels and the contact of your shins on the earth. Perhaps the forehead is on the earth, or you sense your front line on the bolster. Feel it. One more inhale here. And exhale, sigh. As your head perhaps returns to center if turned. And more slowly than you'd like, rise. If you're on your back, perhaps you release the knee hug, plant the feet. Our next pose is Sphinx or seal, where we'll be on the belly. And you might take a bolster or a pillow, maybe preferably a low one. This one's a bit high. And have it in front of you as you come onto your tummy. If you're pregnant, you could come onto your back with the bolster long ways under the spine and open up through the heart. If not, come onto the forearms to start. And from here, you could have that bolster or pillow supporting some of your weight, and it could be between your chest and your arms. For some, this can be a bit much. It depends on your body. Might need a very small bolster here. It's going to take some of the effort out of the pose as we allow in this variation the glutes and the legs to soften. Other variations would be to have those elbows slightly wider, or explore and see what it's like to have the hands wider instead. A blanket could also be underneath the pelvis to provide a little more lift. Or underneath the hands for more moderation, actually for more lift as well. But for some, very few, you might come into seal onto the hands and turn the fingers out as if they're flippers. And this is where a blanket under the pelvis can be nice. Or provide kind of a little in-between place. We'll stay here for about 3 more minutes. Now you've had a chance to hopefully choose your variation today. Know that at any point you could alter your pose, you could come down, take a bolster. In yoga, we want to practice nonviolence, ahimsa, towards ourselves, just as we do others. It's okay to change your mind and then commit to stillness once you found the right place for you. Here we can put some compression on the kidneys. They're an organ said to be associated with fear. So just notice what arises. And notice the desire to perhaps come out of the pose. To question how much longer. So I just did in my mind. Each time you notice yourself distracted, just return. Let the body ground you. Let it guide you back to a point of focus. Where you choose to have your attention. Three more breaths. Finish your last breath with an inhale and an exhale to lower yourself, perhaps in stages, perhaps the forearms if you were lifted. Perhaps you lay yourself onto that bolster in front of you, or right to the earth. Notice the flush or any changes in sensation may be present in your experience. And from here, a chest opener. If you have bolsters, remove them. I think I can keep this blanket under my hips though, so I'm going to try. From here, you might just rock the hips side to side. And the arms could be, bring them out in cactus, so 90-degree angle. Or they could also be extended out. It's going to be what feels good in your shoulders. You could alter at any time. But you could continue with this little rock. And perhaps when you're ready, you roll toward the left side. I'll show you my back body first. Toward the left. And this right hand can slide in along the floor as you come onto that side, and you might take that right foot and plant it behind the body or in front. And again, this arm could be bent. You could just be rolled semi over onto your side, maybe a bolster underneath the inner thigh. I'll try modeling that. So if you're not very far over and you want something to support you, maybe it's underneath this thigh. It could be behind the body. Other hand can be in front to support or behind you. We'll stay here for several minutes. The lung meridian travels along the arms. So does the heart meridian. So let these areas open with the breath. Part of yin is opening the energy channels in the body. Compression, gentle compression on the joints. And lengthening of the tissues, all the connective tissue, having a chance to unwind. The fascia comes in sheaths and layers. There's, you can get kind of sticky. So just imagine the fluid between these layers begin to liquefy, to allow the fascia to slide, glide, and hydrate. Deep tissues of the body. A few more breaths here. Really fill those lungs. And fully exhale. Fill. To release on the exhale. One more breath in. And exhale to begin a slow unraveling. Perhaps that right hand comes to the side of you. Maybe you roll over, move bolsters out of the way to roll onto the belly. And slide that left hand in to any degree. Again, pause here. It's normal to sometimes feel achiness during yin, but never sharpshooting. It's kind of an achiness as we let things go. Things become unstuck. We'll begin to move to the other side. Perhaps for you, that's just a rocking of the hips and a slight sway. Or perhaps you roll onto that right side to any degree. You could support yourself with the left hand. Maybe it's just a tiny bit. Or more onto that side. Left foot could come in front, could come behind. Or again, that bolster be underneath that left thigh with that cactus or a long arm. Just have to wiggle here. Define your position. One that you feel you can sustain. And yin, we don't go to our maximum. It's something that feels doable. And one side could be very different than the other. See if there's anything you can soften. Notice where there's tension and breathe into that space. As long as it's not pain. So we want to come out of the pose, take rest, or find another variation. And the pose may naturally deepen for you as you stay. Or it may not. See if you can be okay with whatever is. No right or wrong.
just what's here in this moment. Best experience. Expand into that, especially right lung. Maybe some constriction there. Notice the length of your arm. More inhale. And exhale to plant the left hand if it's not already there. And just start to return to your belly. Take a moment's pause. You have any other bolsters around or blankets? You might press yourself back into child's pose just to remove those, or you can stay on the belly. And slide forward again on the belly if not already there, and roll onto your back. Have your bolsters nearby. And a rotation. So bring the bolster, if you feel like you're going to need it, to the left-hand side of your mat. Again, it's not necessarily needed for everyone. Extend that left leg and hug the right thigh in. And then take it across the body, and it could land on the bolster for this neutral version of the rotation. Or perhaps that thigh does reach the floor or something lower, maybe a folded blanket. And no need to jam that right shoulder down, just let it do what it does. You could even stick a blanket underneath that. But it's okay to hover. If you prefer another version of the rotation, feel free to take it. It's just the one I'm highlighting today. Rotations are great for supporting the body's natural ability to digest. So support peristalsis. And this more symbolic wringing out and letting go. So see what arises here, especially on the liver side, which is associated with anger. Where do you sense this pulse? Is it mostly down the outside of the right leg? Perhaps into the side of the glute? Or do you sense it more in your center, perhaps along the right side? Or down that right arm? Brushing here on the liver. One more inhale. And exhale to perhaps bring your head back to center if it's not already there. And to support yourself to your spine as you feel new fluids, new lymphatic fluid return to your center. Both legs could be long here if you wish. Or keep one bent. And just notice that right side. On the left side. And both halves together. Plant feet. Hug those knees in for just a moment. We'll stay with this right side before we do the rotation on the opposite side. So plant that left foot and cross the right one over top. You might even stay here with the knee open or explore strap today. And you could take that strap around the bottom thigh and hug it in. And allow the upper arms to rest on the earth, or take the strap to the forefoot. And this requires a little bit of yang, this pose, where you press the foot into the strap, perhaps, and the strap into the foot. Sit here for several minutes. And if this doesn't serve, you could have the wall, you could have your left foot on the wall. Or take pigeon or another variation, sleeping swan in yin, of this, what we call figure 4 or shoelace in yin. For names. And although there's some tension here, perhaps in the arms, maybe you swirl the tongue around the teeth to release that, perhaps the top teeth. 2 times. And the bottom teeth, or sorry, not the bottom teeth, reverse directions of the tongue. Bottom teeth, swirl. Digestion begins in the mouth. Reverse the tongue. Notice if it shifts your experience. When ready, let that go. Maybe stick the tongue out. And ground the back of the skull and stay a while longer. One more deep inhale. And exhale, ha. Perhaps release the left foot to the floor. Soften the hands, maybe you give them a wiggle, open and close. Release that left leg to the floor. Pause. Sense the right side. Left side. And both halves integrated. From here, if you use the bolster or want it, place it on your right side. Right hand comes to that left thigh to help bring it over into the supine rotation, neutral version, or whatever you choose. The head land where it will, where it wants. Here we have compression on the stomach spleen side. Use that breath. Increase the sense of wringing out, letting go. What's the greatest sensation in the body? Perhaps guide your awareness to your left leg, outer left leg. That left glute. The center of your body. Breathe there. The chest, left shoulder. And trace your awareness down the left arm. Inhale wide. Exhale, sigh. Make some sound. Again. Return to the spine. I'm going to plant my left foot here. Pause. Have both feet planted or the legs extended. And sense that left side. Right side. Both halves in union. Right foot plants. Left ankle crosses, flex that top foot. Perhaps you stay here with an open knee. Open to the side. Or take those hands, interlace them around that right thigh or that strap or scarf, whatever you've got. Loops between the thigh and that little figure four you've got. Or around the sole of the foot, forefoot. Ground the shoulders as best you're able. And press the foot or thigh back into the hands or strap. And the strap or hands presses back. Or take to the wall. We'll highlight that another day. Wall practice for the fall. Start with the bottom teeth this time, swirl. Reverse. Tongue moves the top teeth, circle them. Reverse the tongue. So if you can sense it move across the teeth, sensations in the mouth. Let that go. Perhaps the tongue sticks out. A few more breaths here. Steadfast here. Arms might be working. Yang to our yin here. Notice the craving to come out of this pose and stay for another breath. Exhale, maybe sigh through the mouth, release some tension. One more. And release that strap if you have it. Plant the right foot. Transition is just as important as the poses. It's mindful awareness. And then when ready, you lengthen that left foot out. Leg out. And sense that left side. And the right side. And both halves united. Complete. Whole. Might desire to lengthen that other leg up just for a moment. Maybe sway the feet side to side. From here, hamstring lengthener with that strap if you have one. You don't need it, but it's nice to have. And hug that right thigh in and bring the strap around the foot and extend it to the sky. Slide the hands down the strap. Upper arms, hopefully you're able to land. Flex that top foot. You might pull it slightly toward you. That other foot could be planted here, or the leg could be long. Feel this down the back of the leg, or maybe into the back, lower back, maybe even all the way up through the back line. Even the crown and toward kind of the crease of the eyebrows. Bladder meridian line. Feel free to trace up and down your back line. We've wrung ourselves out. We've brought new hydration to different tissues. And we finish with the bladder meridian. Final stop. Release anything you don't need. That just float away. Or inhale. Then exhale to bring that left foot up and place both feet in the strap. And release the hands a little bit. And let that right leg come out. Plant the foot or extend the leg long. And here we are on the other side. From the heel all the way down that left calf, back of knee, back of hamstring, the glute, or back, ribs, back of the neck, shoulders, up the neck, the back of the skull, to the crown, to the forehead, and the inseam of the eyebrow. And we can trace up and down that line. Feeling energy flow freely. Removing what does not serve. We stay here. Find your fortitude through the arms, so a little longer. The breath bring you strength. One more inhale. And exhale to bring both legs up into the strap. Perhaps you pull them slightly toward your nose. And then let go of that strap. And hug the backs of thighs, or hug your hands, clasp them around the backs of thighs, and hug yourself here. Maybe move through the ankles, or find stillness. It's all about stillness. But do what feels right. You unleash those hands and roll the wrists as you perhaps roll the ankles. We'll find our Savasana. You could have your Savasana in another pose if you'd like to do legs up and if you're not tired of having your legs up, have a bolster underneath the sacrum, underneath the hips, and send the legs up. Perhaps you put a blanket over yourself or just over your midsection. It's nice and heavy. It can weigh the shoulders down a bit. Versions like this can be really soothing for the nervous system for most. This could also be done at the wall, require a little less effort. You can still have the prop under the hips and have the feet up the wall. If your legs are up, bring the feet to the floor. With or without the prop under the hips. It can be nice for some with it under the hips. You could bring the knees in toward the chest. And plant the feet. Remove any bolsters. Or you could just be still in Savasana on your back. And start to take some movements. Maybe you roll wrists and ankles, or squeeze and splay the fingers and toes. And because we did a lot with the arms today, if you use the strap, take your right arm up, turn the palm to the sky, and perhaps your left hand presses into the right palm and it presses back for a forearm stretch. And then reverse. So the back of the hand faces the sky and press, and this can be a little softer this time. Press the left hand into the right one, and the right one presses back, but more gentle for most of us. And then switch. Left palm to sky. Remember that press back. To protect the joints. And that palm toward the sky. Press left hand into right, right into left. Massage the hands a little bit. Let's give them a rub. And roll onto your favorite side. When you're ready, bring yourself to seated.
Perhaps look over one shoulder and then the other. Before you drop the chin. Look up if you can as the arms sweep up. And bring your hands through to your heart. Thank you for practicing with me today. Satnam. So hopefully that was a good practice today. I'm very relaxed. Hopefully you are too. If you want to see more videos like this, check out my channel. I'm going to start to build a yin library over time, along with all kinds of other types of sequences. So have a great day. Bye for now.